Hey guys, in one of the previous videos we saw that when you're the only person working on a project, it is okay to let's say commit your file on your local main branch and push it directly to your remote main branch. However, we also discussed that when you're working with more people in the team, it is not okay to push your code directly on the main branch. And to cover that topic, we created this video in which we showed how you can collaborate with other people by way of creating pull requests. Now, even though pull request is a very good way which avoids conflicts working with other people, it does not guarantees that somebody might still not accidentally push code on from a local main branch to your remote main branch. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to have a look at some of the settings in GitHub or Bitbucket or whatever client that you're using um, to implement some of these protections in place. So for example, in this video we will learn how to protect your main branch. For that matter, you can protect any of your branches from direct pushes. So for example, in the future, I might create another video on something called Git flow. So if you're using Git flow, you might have more than one branch, which you might want to use for testing different environments. So maybe in the future, you might have a develop branch for testing develop code of your application. You might have a stable branch for testing stable like version of your application, and these tricks will apply the same way there. The second objective that we want to learn from this session is how to delete branches after a pull request is merged. If you remember, at this time, when a PR gets merged, all those PRs are just getting piled up. So for example, if you go to project 0, if you click on the branch, we can see all these branches that are already merged, but they're still hanging here. Unless and until we manually delete them, they will live here. So we will learn how to do that just in a few minutes. Then we will also cover some of the branch merging strategies, like what are strategies that you can use. And in fact, there are a lot of cool features, that are possible if you explore GitHub settings. So this session is going to be all about GitHub settings. So without any further delays, let's just go into it. So this is my project 0 in GitHub, and what you want to do is you want to click on settings. And then you have multiple tabs. You have like general, collaborators, moderation options, etc., etc. Let's go through them one by one. And since we won't go into detail, I do expect it to be a big video. So it says template repository. We're not going to create a template repository. If you do want to upload any image to show up in like social media, you can download a template. So for example, I downloaded some images for 0, and let's say upload an image, and let's say if we put this image, this is the image it will show up if I share this project in social media. Another image, let's see, 0. Okay, let's keep this one. Okay, in terms of features, wikis restrict editing to collaborators only. That's okay. We do want to see issues, like that's the tab that you see here. I like to create issues as and when we go along, and when I find a problem with my project, I create an issue or a feature request or a documentation, any kind of issue. Sponsorship, maybe I will add it in the future, like otherwise it will be a long process, so I don't want to do that right now. Projects board, so yeah, I do like to have a projects board. Preserve this repository on GitHub archive program, let's keep it. Discussions in the future, like if more people want to discuss on this project, let's also enable this. Let's call setup discussions. Welcome to 0 discussions, start discussion. Okay, nice graffiti there. Let's go back. And the only thing which I have left now is sponsorship, which probably I will add in the future. Then we can go to pull request. In pull request, it says that you have three different strategies that you can use to merge your commits. You can either allow merge commits, which will basically add all commits from the head branch to the base branch with a merge commit. What it means is, let's say if you have a commit on your remote branch as A, and if you create two more branch commits B and C on your local machine on top of A, then when you merge, you will have A, B, C, and a third, like a fourth merge commit D, on your remote branch. This is strategy number one. Another strategy is allow squash merging, combine all commits from the head branch into a single commit in the base branch. So in this case, let's say if you have same example, if you have a commit A on your remote branch, if you have maybe B, C, D, E, F on your local branch, instead of putting like B, C, D, E, F on your remote branch, when you are merging it, it will squash all those commits into one, and maybe it will create one K commit in your remote branch. So you will have A commit and you'll have a K commit. Allow rebase merging, add all commits from the head branch onto the base branch individually. I think the only difference between this and this is, instead of like adding another merge commit, it keeps the history linear by adding those commits on top of your remote branch. What else? Control how and when users are prompted to update the branches. Well, I have not used this thing in the past, but I can imagine it could be a handy feature. What basically this is saying is always suggest updating pull request branches. So let's say if your current branch is outdated than your remote branch, if you try to create a pull request, normally you will get a conflict. You'll say, hey, I cannot merge it because there are more commits on the remote branch, and you have to do like pull the code on main branch, check out your branch, merge with your main branch. So it's like a process. Maybe it will do all that in your remote. In your remote. So let's try it out. So let's click on the check button here. Now this is a very handy feature which I normally use when I'm working on my hobby projects. So for example, let's say one of the projects which I'm working on apart from Zero is project Happyum. And what I do is, if you see in this project, there are a lot of pull requests that I have merged, like 154 done. And what I normally do is, if you look at any of the pull requests, I typically have some build checks that run before a branch can be merged. And since I'm the only person who's reviewing it, I don't want to wait for the whole build to finish. And if I'm working late night, what I typically do is I just click on that button which says enable auto merge when all the checks have passed. So when all the checks are done, it automatically merges my branch into main. So I really like this feature. So let's click on this. After pull requests are merged, you can have head branches deleted automatically. Of course, this is one of our agenda items. We don't want all these branches to be hanging around in the remote. So once a branch is merged into main, we want it to be automatically deleted. I think with this, if you go back and look at our objectives, we covered this part, specify branch merge strategies. We saw that there were 3 branch merge strategies, these 3: merge, squash, and rebase. We saw how to delete branches after PR is merged, which is what basically this thing is doing, and we will learn how to protect our main branches. I think that's covered in other settings. What else? When creating source code archives, you can choose to include files stored using Git LFS in the archive. Bill at the same rate as, okay, I'm not going to do it because it's talking about billing. I don't want to pay for anything at this moment. So if we go down, it says GitHub pages. Pages settings now has its own dedicated tab. I know where it is. It's in the left pane. So we will cover it later when we go there. So we can skip it for now. Danger zone. So most of the times when I want to delete a repository, I use this option. So let's say if I click on delete this repository, it will tell you that, if you really want to delete it, copy paste the whole thing, click on this button and delete it. You don't want to do it, so I'll skip it. Archive this repository. Well, I'm not archiving this repository now. If you want to transfer the ownership, you can do it, probably give it to somebody else, and you can change the repository visibility. So currently it's a public repository, but if you want to make it private or whatever, you can do it from here. So you can see all these settings are pretty useful and pretty handy to know. Then it's talking about moderation options, so basically collaborators. At this moment, I don't have any more collaborators. In the future, if any of you guys want to collaborate on this project, well, feel free and I will give you access, and then your name will show here as a collaborator. Moderation options, at this moment I'm not setting it up. We can skip it for now. Let's look at branches. In branches, you can see, for example, the default branch is considered the base branch in your repository against which all pull requests are merged. At this moment, our main branch is a default branch. In terms of protection rules, I have not protected any branch. So let's add a rule here. So if we click on the rule, let's click on the main branch. That's the branch that you want to protect, right? And what you want to do is, it requires a pull request before merging. So we are not going to allow people to push directly code to the main branch. Normally, if you're working in a project, you want to add approvals, and in fact, I like to add 2 approvals. So it's good to get a review from one of your tester buddies, but normally it's also good to get a review from a developer buddies if they are willing to review a pull request. It helps with improving code quality of a test framework. But in this case, well, since I'm the only one working on this project, if I say require approvals, I will never be able to add, merge my code from PRs to the main branch. So I will uncheck it now, but you should not uncheck it. You should keep it checked, and for that matter, you should make it 1 or 2. The only thing that you want to know is the more approvers that you add, the slower the pull request merging process will become, right? So don't go for too high numbers. So I'll remove this now. Dismiss tail pull request approvals when new commits are pushed. So let's say, so this is an idea which I like, but many developers don't like. And what I say is, hey, if somebody is pushing new commits to the branch, well, you're basically whatever you approved, the code is no longer the same. So you should ideally give another approval by reviewing the new changes. I like to have this. Let's keep it on. Require review from code owners. I typically don't use it, but I think I'm now imagining or guessing that if somebody has pushed a certain piece of code, if somebody is changing that code, it requires review from code owners. So for now, I'll just keep it unchecked. Require status checks to pass before merging. I really like this. Let's say if you have any, let's say build checks created, or if you have any, checks like the user has to resolve all the issues, I want all those checks to pass before we allow our PR to be merged. Some developers don't like it. They say, hey, they're just using checks for our reference. We don't want them to be as a hard mandatory requirement. But I really like this I really like these checks because I view them as more like quality gates. So let's click on this. And require branches to be updated before merging. Yes, I want that. Require conversation resolution before merging. Yes, I absolutely like this. So let's say if somebody gives 3 or 4 review comments on a pull request, you have to resolve those comments. And resolving does not always mean fixing those things. In some cases, you might want to fix those things. In some cases, you might want to give a reply and let the person, one of the important tips that I want to give you is, if somebody gives you a review comment, do not resolve it yourself. If you make a code change, push the code change, and then tell the person that it's done, can you now review it and resolve it yourself? If you don't want to make a change, also make a reply, but do not click on resolve conversation. Let the person who gave the comment read your reply and let him or her decide if they want to resolve the conversation or if they continue to give you more feedback, right? So let's keep this checked. Require signed commits. This is, let's say, if you are working in a project and you don't want people from outside to contribute to your project in any ways, you can actually make it a hard requirement that only the changes that are coming from verified signatures will be allowed. In my case, I'm not doing that, so I'll leave it unchecked. Require linear history. If I do this, then I think the only way you can merge your code is either via Squash or via Rebase. It will not allow you to have any merge commits. So for now, I will leave this because I think I've seen some cases where it becomes very difficult to, go via Rebase or Squash. Or maybe if you want, we can try it with this. And if we are really stuck, we can come back and uncheck this. Include administrators, enforce all configured restrictions above for administrators. Yes. So some administrators like to exclude them from these rules. I do not, because like imagine if I'm an administrator and if I accidentally push code on the main branch, I will screw up things for other people. So I want to have all these checks for all the administrators. Rules apply to everyone, including administrators. Allow forced pushes. Permit forced push for all users. So no, I do not want people to use a force flag to push code directly to the main branch. So I will not allow this. So let's keep it unchecked. Allow users with push access to delete matching branches. I also don't want this because, like I said, in our case we have put an automatic check. The moment a branch is merged, it will be deleted. So let's create this rule. And let's quickly test this rule now, right? Because now we have, let's save changes. So now we do have a rule. If we go to branches, we do have a rule on the main branch, and now we should not be able to push anything on the main branch, right? So let's go back to our main branch. Let's zoom in a little bit, get branch. Let's delete this branch because it's already done. But first, let's git checkout main, git pull all the latest changes. Let's delete this branch, but not much to add. Deleted branch, so this branch is deleted. Let's do a git branch again, and let's do one thing. Let's just add an extra line in the end of it, and add a test line here, right? And if I go back to Visual Studio Code, we now have a test line, which we will remove, of course, but for now we want to test that if I add a commit, test to directly push code to main. If you remember in the past, when we tried to do this, it was possible. So if I click on this, and in the past, if I do git push, it was possible, but now it should not be possible. So I did try to push those changes, but then it said protected branch update failed for refs head main. Changes must be made through a pull request, and remote has rejected this change, which is awesome, right? Like this is exactly what we want to do with this objective, where where you want to prevent people from accidentally pushing code on the main branch, right? So now with this, we achieved all our main objectives. Let's look at some more things that GitHub can provide. So let's go to Windows 2. Actions. Yeah, so at this moment, we have not added any actions yet, but we do want actions. We want to allow all the actions. This is the artifact and log retention. It's default 90 days. Require approval for first-time contributors, which is fine. We are giving read and write permissions, which is fine. So we're not changing anything here, right? In runners, we don't have any runners. We don't need any runners at this moment. Webhooks webhooks allows you to basically give notification about whatever is happening with GitHub into other applications. At this moment, we're not going to add any webhooks, so we'll leave it like this. Environments tab allows you to add multiple environments, let's say for develop, staging, etc., etc. At this moment, the use case has not arrived, so we're not going to cover this here. When the use case arrives, then we will cover it. Pages. Pages says GitHub Pages is designed to host your personal organization or project pages from a GitHub repository. GitHub Pages is currently disabled. Select a source below. Let's enable it, right? Let's just say take a main branch and save Let's click on choose a theme. There are multiple themes available, but I think we can keep the one which is selected. Came in, select theme. Choose a theme. Custom domains allow you to serve your site from a domain other than GitHub IO. At this moment, this is out of scope for this video, so I will just leave it like this. What else? What else? Your site is ready to be published. So if I click on this link, okay, unable to commit to protected branch. Okay, yeah, because the branch is not protected, I cannot directly add it. So let's go back and unprotect it for a moment. Add it. Let's unprotect it for a moment. Save changes. Let's go to pages. Okay, let's click on this. And you can see now if you go to this link, you can see like your project details as a part of a web URL. This is like an HTTP URL without going inside your project, right? It's pretty cool. Let's go back and let's put back our branch rule again. So we again require a pull request. We don't need approvals. We do want to dismiss stale pull request, and that's it. Save changes. Let's go back. Environment pages is now set up, so this is good. Code security and analysis. At this moment, I will leave what's enabled as enabled and what's disabled as disabled. Deploy keys. We're not deploying any keys for this repository. You can use secrets to basically create some project secrets, that you want to pass from your CI. Again, the need has not arrived yet, so we will not cover this topic now, maybe in future. Dependable, there are no secrets. GitHub apps. So at this moment, well, it's saying for Slack, it's asking for needing some permissions. We will cover this topic in another video where, let's say, we will be able to push all our GitHub events, like notify all our GitHub events on Slack. So maybe that's a topic probably we can cover in the next video, right? So for now, let's leave it like this. Email notifications. Yeah, if you really want to be notified by emails, you can give your email addresses, and then you will get notified. But I would not advise it, because like in the past I've done this. After a while you get lots of emails and they just become noise and it does not add value. So I would advise against it. So I think with this we have covered like all the settings of GitHub, to make our life easier. And in some cases, like branching deletes automatically, merging branches automatically, and in some cases to enforce protection on the main branch. So I hope you found this video useful. If you like this video series, yeah, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and in the next video let's try and see if we can get notifications over Slack of everything that we are doing on GitHub. I think that would be a cool thing to cover next. And maybe after that, we can move and see how to add a test framework to our project. So that's it for now. See you in another video. Cheers. Bye-bye.